It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories for watching this Wednesday, July 1. The Senate has begun its inquiry into the deadly Tacloban school shooting and the role of online groups in grooming children to commit violent acts. Testifying was the policewoman aunt of the 14-year-old suspect who owns one of the firearms used in the shooting. She says the weapon was kept inside a locked gun box in her house and that the suspect forcibly took it. Meantime, Senator Risa Ontiveros says there are indications that the suspect may have been influenced by alleged extremist online group 764. For his part, Senator Raffy Tulfo says he will push for amendments to the juvenile justice law, including separate facilities for minors accused of heinous crimes.
The Iglesia Ni Cristo rally is continuing on for a second day at the EDSA People Power Monument. The religious group had requested a permit to hold the gathering until Friday, but the Quezon City government has yet to approve the extension. Authorities earlier moved a bus that had been blocking EDSA, which caused a brief, tense moment between police and rally-goers before the situation was resolved. 3 lanes of EDSA have since reopened to motorists. Still on the rally, the palace urged INC members to follow the law as their rally along EDSA carries on. Palace press officer Claire Castro appealed to the group, saying they are not used as a vehicle for any destabilization effort. Castro added that President Bongbong Marcos sees no reason to cancel his trip to Canada. The president will leave for that state visit this evening, and he will be meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney to discuss defense, trade, and other areas of cooperation.
And Pag-asa continues to monitor Tropical Depression Henry. It was last spotted 240 kilometers west-southwest of Abukay, Bataan. It may exit the Philippine area for responsibility this evening or early tomorrow morning. Pag-asa says Henry will bring rain to some parts of Luzon, including Zambales, Bataan, and Metro Manila. The rest of the country will also experience showers brought by the southwest monsoon or the habagat and localized thunderstorms. And joining us today, our very own Dalai Llamas, si Mr. Ronald.
Talagang hindi ako sanay doon sa ganong klaseng introduction.
He's never happy with the introduction.
Pati yung katabi ko, hindi sanay. Diba? Ano, di ba, ang Dalai Lama?
He's supposed to be serene and
Wise is the word that you're looking for.
Icon of wisdom. Icon of
Full of wisdom.
self-awareness. Diba? Yung ganon.
From the Philippine Star, we've also got Editor-in-Chief, Ami Pamintuan. Hi, Ami.
Yan ang icon of serenity.
Hi, everyone. Happy ba
Okay.
tayo ngayong
Si Flapo
Wednesday?
Ami Pamintuan.
Before
Happy ba kayo?
we get to needling each other, let's bring in our guest because he has to leave shortly. Today we're talking to Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla. Welcome back to StoryCon, Secretary Remulla.
Thank you for having me back. Greetings
Hi.
to your Holy One.
Ano?
The Holy One.
Greetings to whom?
Baka naman unholy.
The Holy One.
Who's the Holy One?
Si Dalai Llamas.
Then why are you pointing at me? It's you.
Secretary, alam na niya kung ano ibig sabihin ngayon ng peluka. Alam na niya. Dati.
Yung kumunoy.
Bakit? Bakit kasi kailangan i-bulgar?
Burak.
Burak. Alam na niya kung ano yung burak. Dami niyang natututunan dito sa programang ito.
Very informative talaga ang programang ito.
I'm glad you find me so amusing. Thank you very much. But anyways, we
Okay,
have
let's
serious
go.
matters to talk about.
Nasa lista rin yan.
Beginning with the rally,
The rally.
the ongoing rally at EDSA. Kamusta na po yung situation? Of course, this is day 2 now.
As of 1 o'clock, they were at 5,000. As of now, I think they're closer to 10,000 to 12. We expect maybe 20,000 at its peak. It's relatively peaceful. There was some resistance last night when we reclaimed another lane and pushed the barriers back, but they all cooperated in the end. The southbound lane is totally unoccupied and free of any obstruction. So things should be okay.
There's a question hear about why, if they didn't have a permit on the first day, why they weren't dispersed to begin with.
You have to weigh the pros and the cons of doing these things, and dispersing people is not an easy thing. You do that to extremists. This is a religious group. Using tear gas against them and water cannons against a religious group isn't exactly kosher in my eyes. So I would rather negotiate and engage rather than being more violent about it.
But what if they extend beyond today and go, for example, until tomorrow or until Friday?
Well, it's up to Quezon City, actually. They're the ones issuing the permits. And the day their permit was from 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening. So at 7:30 tonight, we will promptly remind them to wrap up and to start going home. And then we will see what Quezon City offers them or by this afternoon if they have a permit for tomorrow.
Anong nangyari, Secretary? Because they were supposed to disperse last night. I think something triggered them to stay. No? So, what happened? No?
I don't know.
Yeah.
My only engagement is the peace and order side, but in terms of their motivations, hindi ko talaga alam eh. Kung ano ang nila, kung anong pakay nila. Parang selective justice daw ang laging sinisigaw nila. Pero that's beyond the ambit of my office. So dito lang ako sa making sure that everyone is safe.
May information ba kayo, Secretary, kung iaatras yung in-announce ni Ombudsman Boying Remulla na kakasuhan at aarestuhin si Senator Marcoleta this week?
I think the ombudsman is very determined to file it anytime soon. So we will see, and only he knows when it will be filed. He actually doesn't tell me. So tingnan natin, baka bukas, baka Friday, baka Monday. So malapit na rin yan.
Beyond staging a protest rally, may balita ba kayo if it might be linked to a destabilization effort?
There is a big possibility, especially with politicians again joining the fray. Dapat wala nang epal-epal sa mga ganyan, di ba? Kasi it only adds political color to it. So, but we're confident the armed forces and the PNP are united. All our ground troops, all the way to the generals, are united in protecting the Constitution.
So walang element siya ng uniform, participation ng uniformed services kasi doon lang naman magsasucceed kung may destabilization.
We're 100% confident that there is no destab within the administration, but they will try. It's always a possibility that they might try from outside.
But do you have any information as to whether they have tried to reach out to active military officers and policemen?
None. Only through Facebook posts. But the generals and the generals now are more professional. They're not swayed by all these chatter and all these egos. So they've remained true and they've remained vigilant to standing by their oath.
Secretary,
Kung sakasakali, Secretary, kasi expected naman natin na itutuloy ni Ombudsman Remulla yung pag-file ng plunder case, and while it's not up to him, it's up to the court, we expect na kapag final yon, medyo madali na makakapag-issue ng arrest warrant. Kung sakasakali, anong balak ninyo, considering what happened dun sa case ni Senator Ronald De La Rosa, halimbawa, papayag pa ba kayo ng protective custody ng Senate, for example?
There's no such thing. Wala nang protective custody ngayon. Hindi naman hearing to. And they actually lost that privilege when they let Bato escape. So there is no off-limits here.
Okay. Saka hindi naman siya 6 years, ano?
Hindi. Kung plunder ang file,
Confirm
and
yan
I have no knowledge, I have no knowledge ko na talaga yung file. Pero if it is plunder, as he announced, then it's reclusion perpetua.
Reclusion perpetua.
Yes. Yes.
On the handling of the rallies, Secretary, there are some people who are saying na may pagka-double standards, no? Because when it's progressive groups or other groups, they get dispersed if they're rallying without a permit, but with the handling of the INC, parang napaka-delicate daw. What would you say to that?
Iba naman ang extremist groups. Binabato naman kami ng Molotov cocktail doon, 'di ba? Ando doon ako mismo na nasa Mendiola. Ilang beses ako tamaan, muntik tamaan ng bato, muntik ako tamaan ng Molotov cocktail. Didisperse mo talaga 'yon. Pero in this case, where it is a peaceful and it's a simple protest in my eyes, there's no need to use extreme measures to disperse them.
At the same time, so there are reports na may mga bus na hinaharangan daw sa NLEX at SLEX na papasok dapat ang Metro Manila. Apparently, of course, this is still to be confirmed, apparently carrying rallies or ralliers. Is there any policy with regard to that?
None from me. I did not issue any order to that effect. But maybe from the local level, baka they are the ones acting. But it didn't come from my office. I'm 100% sure of that.
Secretary, nagkaroon ng minor scuffle yesterday. Nagkasakitan.
Yes.
May nasuntok na pulis, may nanakawan ng cellphone, etc. Isolated ba yon or meron pa mga sumunod?
Well, I gave the order to reclaim the southbound lane. And I said that if there is no government, then it is anarchy. They had 50 people had no right to hostage the entire southbound lane of EDSA. So we got more aggressive and we pushed back and until they relented and they gave in.
May balita ba kay Secretary na talagang surprise rally lang to? Na bigla-bigla lang naisipan? Kasi yung iba, ang speculation nila, it's been planned for some time.
Yung trigger yata yung yung trigger yata yung announcement ng Ombudsman. And that seems to be their narrative. So we're just following their narrative about it. So what I am puzzled about is wala pa naman na-file, di ba? It's still not there. They haven't seen the form nor the substance. Poprotesta kagad. Sana naintay muna nila para mabasa muna nila kung ano talaga yung actual charges.
But why did the government's intelligence not pick this up? Or did you? Because it feels like we were all caught off guard by this.
We actually did at 11 p.m. the night before. But how do you prevent people from traveling from one point to another, then assembling on it's like Occupy Wall Street. And they did. So they did occupy People Power Park, and there's also you cannot use violence all the time.
No, of course, no one's
we-
suggesting violence. Pero what about sending reinforcements already to People Power Monument, Liwasang Bonifacio?
There were more policemen than there were protesters. We had more than 15,000 at its peak, and there were only 12,000 protesters last night. So there were more policemen than protesters. But of course, it's always maximum tolerance. The policy of this administration is maximum tolerance towards these things.
Is that what the president wanted? Was that his instructions? Handle with maximum tolerance?
Yes, always treat people with respect. Always exercise maximum tolerance, and negotiate if you can to get the better results out of things.
Well, sir, clearly si Marcoleta has the backing right now of the Iglesia leadership. We've talked kanina about what could possibly happen or not happen if Marcoleta seeks refuge doon sa Senado. But what if Marcoleta, for example, hypothetically, seeks refuge doon sa main office ng sa Central, which is its own compound?
Well, we'll cross the road when we get there, but nothing will stop us from implementing an arrest warrant. Kung hindi namin gawin yan, wala nang batas sa Pilipinas, di ba? So, pag ando doon siya, sigurado kami ando doon siya, lahat ng karapatan ng gobyerno gagamitin namin para makuha namin ng hustisya. Hindi naman pwedeng idadaan lahat yan sa paramihan eh. Dapat yan dinadaan rin sa kung sino tama at sinong mali.
But that could be tricky kasi I do remember nung panahon ni Marcos Sr., minsan nagkakaroon ng kiskisan dyan when government tries to enter that huge compound.
In this case, I don't think so. Nag-uusap naman kami lagi ng mga higher authorities nila. And in fact, yesterday pumunta ako doon to seek an audience, and we talked about it, and they
Oh.
agreed to some of the terms that we discussed, and that's why it ended up more peaceful.
Oh, sir, can you tell us about that? Nag-meeting pala kayo kahapon.
Yeah,
so what did you
hindi
agree
ako
on?
it was actually about the south side of the lane. That's
Okay.
number one. I said you have to
Libre
vacate
yun.
that. Yung pangalawa naman yung conduct nila sa loob, kasi again, it was not planned, spontaneous siya, so we had to bring the portalets in kasi it was getting kind of messy. Yung pag inuurong namin yung barrier, nagre-resist sila, so nagkakasakitan. So we asked them, let's be gentlemen about it. At pumayag naman sila sa dulo.
Mhm. But have they, well, by any chance, did you guys talk about the following days from today?
We
they
don't
going to stay?
talk about speculative matters, and I was not authorized to negotiate on those things. My ambit is only yung ano lang, kung paano natin i-declog yung EDSA. So, we tried our best today. As you see, inurong namin yung concrete barriers by another lane. Nakita niya mas maluwag na ngayon. At yung southbound portion, totally free of any obstruction. Nakakaawa lang yung mga nakatira sa White Plains, Big Meadows. It must be hell for them right now.
Yeah, and everybody who had to pass through there to get to work yesterday, marami kaming kilala. And
Yes.
that was the second part of my question earlier, which is if you guys had known 11 p.m. the night before, bakit wala pong abiso to the motorists that this was going to happen? And secondly, sir, bakit kayo po yung tayong nakikiusap for them to give up the southbound lane?
Actually, it was more of a advice that we were gonna clear it. Kaya medyo nagkaroon ng kiskisan eh. Nagkaroon ng konting sakitan. Pero hindi naman grabe. Pero we really enforced the law and they vacated it in the end.
So, Secretary, malinaw yung inyong lines na hindi dapat nila i-cross. Hindi dapat nila i-disrupt yung flow of traffic sa EDSA. Either yung southward or northward lanes ay dapat hindi haharangan. Yun yung mga no-no para sa inyo.
Yes, hindi naman pwede ma-hostage yung buong bansa, ang buong Metro Manila dahil sa protesta nila. Ang protesta ng People Power nun, laging matiwasay, dadalhin nga sa Luneta. Sa Luneta na lang, imbes na i-hostage nila lahat yan. They don't realize the amount of inconvenience they have caused to millions of people. Pakiusap ko lang, kung may protesta kayo, sana magpaalaman kayo. Dalhin nyo naman sa Luneta. Ngayon dumating na yan, ginagawa na lang natin lahat para maging matiwasay ang lahat.
Anong sinagot po nila, Secretary, nung sinabi niyong sana nagpaalam naman kayo?
Hindi ko na pinarating doon. Sabi ko lang, advice ko lang na i-disperse nyo na sa southbound. Ibinigyan namin ng time limit. Pumayag naman sila sa time limit, pero baka hindi na communicate down the line sa mga tao. So we applied the pressure necessary para ma-clear yung southbound.
Pero malinaw na nanggaling sa inyo pala yung portalet, ano? Kasi nagtataka yung mga tao eh. May baon pa daw na portalet, meaning they planned it for a long time.
Health hazard kasi kung di kami maglagay eh. Anong gagawin mo sa 15,000 people na walang urinal, di ba? Kailangan maglagay ka kahit paano, di ba? Siyempre, that is a big concern of ours too.
Forward-looking, Secretary, mukhang may several triggers na pwede pang mag-create ng similar mobilization. One is the arrest of Senator Marcoleta. Another is the impeachment, which is about to start sa Monday. Tapos ikatlo yung State of the Nation address ng Presidente. All of this will happen in the next few weeks. Are you preparing our security forces, our law enforcement sa tatlong possible trigger na yan?
Yes, we are very prepared. Nakita nyo, wala naman nasaktan. In due time, na-control naman namin yung crowd. In the next few weeks, we're always, hindi naman nawawala ang high alert sa gobyerno, di ba? Lalo na sa security sector. Pero handa naman kami, and we expect no major disturbances in the application of the law and governance.
So hindi nyo nakikita na kakailanganin ng tulong ng armed forces?
Dahil kaya na namin, ang PNP is more than well equipped to do that. Ano naman nakikinig naman sila, basta kausapin
Pero sir, just to recall, yes sir, just to recall, nung
Yes.
panahon ni Cory sir, itong gantong pagsasabay-sabay ng mga bagay-bagay, that's what they would call a confluence of events that would sometimes
Yes.
lead up to other things, if you know what I mean.
Yes, but ano yan, kami naman ay handa lagi. The armed forces and the PNP remain committed to the Constitution. We are very professional about how we do our business. We mean no harm to anyone who protests. It is enshrined in our Constitution. So we are more than prepared to act, but we are more than prepared to help also. Na hindi dumating sa sakit ng ang mga events na yan.
You
May
said
isa pang rally na nakaschedule ngayong Saturday. Any preparations or any advice to motorists, Secretary?
We will give the necessary advice and we will make sure na everything again is done peacefully. By tomorrow, you will hear from us kung ano mangyayari sa mga darating na araw.
Secretary, you said the goal was to talk to them peacefully and to negotiate gentlemanly. What were they asking for?
We didn't, there was no negotiation in terms of you give me this, I give you that. The conversation centered around freeing up the traffic and making sure that everyone was peaceful. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng sa lahat, di ba? You cannot negotiate justice, you cannot negotiate the law. What you do negotiate is a peaceful settlement to all of this.
So as far as you're concerned, as far as law enforcement is concerned, by 8 p.m. tonight, they have to disperse because there's no extension yet at this point, right?
Yes, we will give the due warning by 7:30 to wrap things up, and at 8 o'clock, then we will do what is necessary. Kakausapin namin ulit na mag-vacate na sila.
Any idea what President Marcos thought of this or how he approached this?
Oh, he was very cool about it. He just asked us to make sure no one gets hurt, control the situation. He said confident naman siya kay Secretary Isidoro at sa akin sa nangyayari. So there was no sense of perturbance on his part. Parang okay lang, just do your job.
Okay.
So walang nabanggit yung INC na end game na ito,
Hindi.
ventilation lang ba yan? Venting lang yan?
Hindi naman namin pinapaabot sa yung usapan doon. In fact, the president and I had a conversation last night. I said, sir, for perspective, you assumed office exactly 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then but I said and he said and what do you mean by that? And I said, for you sir, even the bad days are good. You're president of this country, so even the bad days are good. And he agreed naman. And it is part and parcel of running the country. In a liberal democracy like ours, may may mangyayaring ganito lagi.
Any special instructions to you guys whilst he's out of the country?
Wala naman. Business as usual, governance goes on, life goes on. Listen with respect, treat them fairly, and then we go on with our lives.
Okay.
So, Secretary, itong rally na ito na nasa tabi ng dalawang kampo, armed forces at saka police, ay wala man lang hint na may gustong i-trigger from our security forces itong mga nagrarally?
Wala. Si General Bronner is on top of the situation dito sa Campo Aguinaldo. Secretary Guibo, he's reporting to Secretary Guibo. General Nartates is on top of the situation sa PNP. I've met with all the generals, I've met with all the colonels. Mukhang okay naman, wala naman kami nakikitang problema.
Okay, dahil meron kasing mga, halimbawa si former Secretary Jing Paras, si Celis ng SMNI, si General Pokis, naglalabas ng statement na maghanda na daw si Vice President Sara to take over. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung take over. Pero may mga ganon statements. Oo.
Dalawang taon pa naman, pwede kasi makakaintay naman ng 2 taon siguro. Huwag kayong magmamadali masyado. Huwag kayong magmamadali masyado. Wala kami pupuntahan. Give us 2 more years. Give the president 2 more years, and then whoever the people choose in 2028, there will be a peaceful transition of power, and we will ensure that this country is in good shape.
Yeah. So,
There's no use in hurrying up. Diba? Wala naman silang sakit eh. Hindi ko lang kung si Jing may sakit na kaya nagmamadali siya. Pero relax lang kayo. 2 taon na lang naman eh.
Chill lang, chill.
Hindi yung clear and present danger, ha, Secretary. It's not a clear and present danger.
They want to make it appear such, but everything, the president has full confidence. Alis nga mamayang gabi para dun sa trade mission niya. And he has full confidence that we can handle it and the country will remain whole.
Okay.
okay. We want to talk to you about other issues, pero Sec, do you still have to go, or you can say a bit?
2 minutes, 3 minutes, one last question. It's okay.
Hindi na pwede because the other topic is on the Ateneo
Ibang
Drowning.
topic. Saka yung mga bata. School
Nagpagano na
violence.
kami. We filed charges already. Binigay na namin sa DOJ. So, nasa DOJ na yung bola. Wala na sa amin.
Yeah, but there's questions there of why hazing, why anti-hazing and hindi reckless imprudence
Well,
resulting in homicide.
All elements, ang hindi kasi naiintindihan ng tao yung revised act of 2018. Kung mabasa sana nila yun, nakikita nila that that the elements of hazing were present during the team building activity. Yung revised act of 2018 ayun ang tingnan nila, hindi yung original act. Yung kasi one is called the Lenny Villi Act, the other one is the Atio Castillo Act. So it is the 2018 that they should look at it. Nakikita nila yung elements of hazing.
We did look at the revisions and it's much, that law is much tighter and stricter. And imposes a far heavier penalty on hazing. Pero ba't naman, sir, sinama pa yung mga ball boys and yung mga therapists and student managers?
According to the law, kasi as long as you were present and did not object. But we have already offered them a way out na if they testify to what happened, then they could be state witnesses. In truth, they were powerless to stop it naman.
Of course.
But in the full application of the law, kailangan namin sabihin kung sino ando doon, kung sino ang nag-participate. So, ang DOJ, I think, will be determining kung sino ang pwedeng i-charge at sino hindi.
Yeah. Okay. So there's an agreement with them already to give them a way out.
Yes. Of course, hindi naman kami kasi nag-file ng case. We filed the complaint, but they filed the case. So, with reasonable certainty of conviction, they will name who is most guilty amongst all those who were there in Dipocalaw.
Sir, baka we can have you another day rin kasi may iba pa mga issue like yung school shooting sa Tacloban.
School shooting.
Baka we can have you another day. I know you're in a rush eh.
Parang
tell you
wala
what,
na katahimik ang buhay ko eh, no?
I tell you what, Secretary, tomorrow...
Hindi,
That's
anong mga
the-
measure? Anong mga measure? Kasi nag-aalala mga tao na nakalat sa mga baril eh.
Yesterday,
Okay.
nag-meeting ako, Secretary Rex, Secretary
Okay.
Vida,
Yeah.
Secretary Aguda,
Okay.
regarding measures that will be
Alright.
taken. And ibababa na namin sa DepEd ko ng
Okay.
precautions
Yeah.
kailangan gawin sa mga
Okay.
pangyayari ito.
I mean-
Remember, there are 1.5 million registered gun owners in the Philippines. 2.2 million guns registered to those 1.5. So it's a big country, and it's a lot of guns, and there are things
Yeah.
that we have to do to control these things.
Yeah. So we'll leave that there. I think your staff needs to is trying to remind you that you have to go. But sabi ko nga sa inyo, it's a longer conversation
I have no more life.
So-
Ay, wala na akong buhay talaga.
So, Secretary
Buti pa si
Remulla...
Lalay lamang, namaste.
Namaste.
No, Secretary Remulla, teka lang.
Masaya pa
Tomorrow,
buhay mo.
we'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, okay? In person.
Ako? Ako?
Oh, yes. So we can finish this
Kaya
conversation.
biyernes, pwede rin biyernes. Oh.
And since sinabi ko na, hindi na pwede bawiin, so we'll see you this week.
Secretary, wala akong kinalaman dyan, ha?
Ano ba, Regina, nga, papayo ko, basta Tagalog ang buong episode.
Sinabi ko na.
Paisip siya.
Wala nang bawian. It's on air. It's out there. It's permanent.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm negotiating with you now. Tagalog tayo.
No.
Buong
sige,
episode.
Tagalog.
Kung magkatagalog si Regina, talaga na yung buong.
Namaste.
Okay.
Namaste.
He will have peace. He
Thank you
will
so
have
much for
peace.
talking to us, DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla.
Salamat, Secretary.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you,
Maraming salamat.
Secretary.
Okay.
No, namaste. So what did we agree on?
We agreed that he's gonna come back to...
If na, kasi malabo raw bukas eh. Pwede yung Friday, kung pwedeng Friday. Kasi tayo pa pinag-usapan eh. Yung Tacloban
Yung Tacloban shooting.
Ang dami mga copycat na ano eh.
Copycat incidents.
Yeah, meron na naman ngayon.
I want to finish the conversation with the Ateneo recommendation of charges. Yung Tacloban shooting, tsaka yung, of course, the fugitives, sina Senator Bato de Rosa,
And it's good to
Atong
have
Ang.
him again kasi kung hindi pa nag-disperse by tomorrow,
Yeah, it
it's a
should.
different situation
Tingnan
altogether.
natin. Kasi wala naman extension nitong rally.
Well, so far, yeah. But maganda nga if we can come back, you can bring it back
Yeah.
by Friday siguro, thereabouts. Okay?
Okay.
Ano, are we going to a gap or are we going to say namaste again?
You're watching Storcon on One News. We just need to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
We've got developing news of the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
And I'm Regina Lay. So with us, Amy Pamintun of the Philippine Star and Ronald Llamas, a resident political heckler.
Hindi niya masabi eh.
Parang hugot sa
Malalim.
ilalim ng lupa.
Namaste.
Ilalim ng lupa, hinuhugot eh.
Okay, joining us is Mojo Merimon Reyes reporting live from the Senate. Merimon, kamusta dyan?
Bo, good afternoon. So far, katatapos lang ng inquiry or hearing ng Senate Committee on Women, Children, and Family Relations and Gender Equality tungkol doon sa Tacloban shooting incident involving minors itong June 22, pati yung inquiry rin nila sa Roblox and other online gaming platforms na potentially baka may impluwensya or may kailangang malaman tungkol sa paggamit ng mga kabataan dito and yung exposure nila doon sa mga grupo o nakaka-impluwensya patungkol sa violent actions or behavior. Kani-kanina lang, yung nabanggit naman ni Committee Chairman Senator Risa Ontiveros, may indications daw na yung insidente nung Tacloban na shooting incident ay may connection daw sa online extremist network na 764 and ito ay umano gumagamit ng mga online games and pati ang social media para mag-groom o kaya naman ang impluwensya ng kabataan sa mapanganib na gawain. Talamak daw ito sa iba't ibang bansa tulad ng US at ng Canada and tinatawag nga nila ito as a terrorist group or a national security threat. Ginagawa nilang pugad yung mga games tulad ng Roblox, Minecraft, pati yung Gorebox na nilalaro ng isang menor de edad na nagpaulan ng putok ng barilo doon sa Tacloban. And base rin sa information na nakuha nila, questionable din yung social media nung isa doon sa dalawang menor de edad kasi naulanan nito ng supportive comments from reportedly people of or from or with the same group. And may isa pa doon sila tinitignan na adult groomer kasi ang sinasabi pagkatapos ng shooting incident, nag-comment siya doon sa post netong menor de edad na na-edit na raw siya sa TikTok, so i-delete na raw yung account, i-delete na raw yung post. Pero ang sabi naman, so far lahat ng information na to, ibinigay na sa NBI for further verification and investigation. Bo.
Well, clearly they're aiming high, but they're also aiming far. Pero let me try to aim a little bit nearer. Yung kamag-anak, yung tita ng 14 anyos na pulis na ang sabi niya, nasa loob, yung kanyang baril nasa loob ng isang lockbox, nasa loob ng isang bolt, nasa loob ng isang nakakandadong bahay. Yet somehow na ipasok ng isang 14 anyos na hindi naman kalakihan yung katawan. Tinatanggap ba ng komite ang ganong paliwanag, gayong parang hindi ata ganong kapani-paniwala na this kid was able to break into all those locks of a policewoman?
Bok, ang sinasabi dyan ni Sergeant Arla Pasensya, siya yung aunt o yung tita nung isang ang menor de edad, si alias Nash. And ang sinasabi niya kasi in good faith, alam niya raw na yung sa safekeeping ng barel doon sa gun box. Pero pinilit daw nitong kanyang pamangkin na pasukin daw yung bahay niya, parang sinira raw yung way in, even yung locker niya, kung saan doon nakalagay yung gun box. And sa gun box, doon yung nakuha yung possession niya nung baril. Pero ang ina-explain dito ni Sergeant Pasensya, unlawfully daw na in-enter. Hindi niya raw alam yon kasi siya lang daw ang may susi sa bahay niya na yon, kaya pinilit daw nitong bata na makapasok. At yun daw yung rason, kaya daw nakuha yung kanyang baril at ginamit nga doon sa shooting incident sa isang paaralan.
Anong klase ba yung kanyang taguan ng baril? Dahil may rules dyan, ha? Halimbawa ako, gun owner ako, may rules doon sa saan mo ilalagay
Safekeeping.
under lock and key yung mga baril. Hindi mo naman yan ilalagay sa isang manipis o madaling buksan na kahadiyero, no?
Nasa
Ganun ba?
plastic lockbox daw. Baka
Plastic?
parang
Di ba
Tupperware. Eh.
Orocan? No, it was a plastic,
Plastic.
Plastic
cabinet.
Hindi pwede yun, no? Lalo na kung pulis ka, alam mo yun. Dahil ang pulis ang nag-check eh. Chine-check randomly ng mga pulis yung tinataguan mo ng baril. Kaya ikaw yung unang makakaalam kung anong klaseng taguan yung dapat. Medyo weird yun, ha?
Oo, hindi naman yung bigas eh.
At pati nga yung bahay paano nakapasok doon? Ano ba klaseng pinto yun? Ang dali-daling pasukin yung bahay mo.
Yes. Ako yung mga baril ko, talagang malalaking kahadero, ha? Oo, kahit lagyan mo ng granada yun, hindi mabubuksan yun.
So we're wondering, actually we're wondering kung tinanggap ng komite ang paliwanag na yon ni policewoman o may mga question
Anong
dun sa
reaction?
Oo,
Ano
may
reaction ng mga
question
senador?
kasi
Nakakaintindi ang mga yan ng baril eh.
tatlong locks daw ang na-defeat ng isang 14 anyos.
Sa plastic?
Ah.
Lock daw, sabi niya eh.
Well, Bok, tinatanong kasi kanina kung ano raw ba yung pinaglagyan. Ang sabi naman ni Pasensya, yung standard daw is a safety vault. Pero in good faith daw, naniniwala itong si Pasensya na supposedly, safekeeping, maayos daw niyang itinabi itong baril. And at that time, siya lang daw yung nakatira doon sa bahay niya. Pero yung gun box daw, ang nasabi, plastic daw yung gun box. Kaya ang tinatanong din kanina ng mga senador, paano raw nagkaroon talaga or paano talaga siya nakuha nung menor de edad. Ang una pa lang na questionable is yung pagpasok ng bahay, lalo-lalo na yung doon sa safety vault, kung standard daw yun, tapos plastic naman daw yung doon sa gun box.
Kailan ko nakarinig ng plastic na
Oo nga
ball.
eh,
Saka
plastic.
bakit hindi niya dala yung baril niya? Normally, pag pulis, kahit saan magpunta, may dala-dalang baril eh.
Actually, hindi
yung
yan
bolt ng
na-explain
pellet
kanina
gun.
ni Pasensya. Ang nadagdag doon nung napag-uusapan
Wala
yung
nang
baril is, tinanong ni Senator Raffy Tulfo naman yung idea na dinadala naman daw niya itong menor de edad sa shooting range or firing range. And inadmit naman nung pulis na oo raw pero isang beses lang daw ito at ang reason daw kasi sinabihan daw siya nung bata na mataas daw ang tingin niya sa kanya na isang pulis at gusto rin daw maging pulis ng bata one day. Kaya daw dinala daw ito sa firing range. So ang sunod na questioning doon itong mga senador ni na Senator Risa, alam daw ba ni Pasensya na bawal magdala ng menor de edad sa mga
Minor,
firing
yeah.
range? Pero ang sinabi nito, hindi niya raw alam. So doon tinanong agad nung committee na nag-take ka ng oath mo, nag-swear ka na magiging tapat ka sa lahat ng natatanungin ng committee. Kaya tinanong nila ulit, wala raw ba talaga siyang alam na bawal magdala ng menor de edad? Sabi niya, wala pa rin daw talaga. So sabi, well, hindi naging satisfactory yung kasagutan sa mga senador.
The point of
Saka
the
ang galing naman nun, na nanood lang yung bata dun sa firing range. Natuto nang magbumaril ng 9mm. Marunong mag-reload, marunong
pero,
magdala ng tamang magazine na marami.
tinitrain daw talaga, di ba?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Hindi
really
na pwedeng
being trained.
basta-basta ng ganyan na babaril ka, nanood ka lang dun sa firing range, natuto ka ng bumaril. Although, ano pa magagawa niya? Nakadiktay na siya ngayon, she's under custody, hindi ba?
Tama, and na-confiscate na rin yung baril. Pero kanina nung nakita natin siya dito, naka-jacket, nakatakip yung kanyang mukha, and yun, parang paulit-ulit siyang nire-remindan na nag-take siya ng oath, maging honest siya, maging tapat siya, pero so far, yun lang yung naging kasagutan talaga ni Pasensya sa mga katanungan.
The point of the hearing, Marymon, is to examine the links between online gaming platforms and extremist behavior. Is it any clear what they're hoping to get out of this? Because of course, there's may mga fake news, hindi naman fake news, pero yung sinabi ni Senator Risa Ontiveros about Gore Box, for instance, she said later on that they were misinterpreted. She wasn't looking to ban the platform. So after one hearing, do we know what they're driving towards?
Regina, kanina ang sabi din ni Senator Risa, fake news daw yun. Hindi siya nagto-throw ng stones sa laro at hindi rin daw yung mga laro ang kalaban dito, kundi mga nananamantala raw na mga laro. Especially itong mga adult groomers or groups na iniimpluwensyahan ng kabataan sa maling perspektibo, lalo-lalo na yung maling behavior daw. So far kasi suspended yung hearing, may susunod pa raw na pagdinig kasi marami pang hindi nakapagsalita na mga stakeholder, pati yung ibang mga civil society organizations. Pero ang gusto kasi nila munang makita ngayon is sapat daw ba yung safeguards na meron, for example, age restrictions, yung implementation nito, hindi lang naman daw sa mga laro, even sa social media. Kaya present din sa pagdinig ang Meta, pati ang TikTok. And parehong platform naman nagbigay ng kanilang assurance at promise na tinitake down daw nila, binaban nila lahat ng content, lahat daw ng account na lumalabag doon sa community guidelines, lalo na pagdating daw sa hate and violence or violent actions or behavior. So yun yung promise nila, pero ang so far wala pa silang naibibigay talaga na ilalatag nila in the long run pag natapos ito pagtinig. Pero ang gusto muna nilang makita ngayon kung safe ba o may protection daw ba ang mga bata tungkol dyan. Yung Game Developers Association naman, nagsabi sila na it's parang lahat dapat daw kumilos dito, from literacy sa mga laro, sa mga para sa mga magulang, sa mga bata, sa school daw, sa mga tirahan, kailangan daw yan. At the same time, mga game developers din daw may responsibilidad na siguruhin na nai-implement daw na maayos yung age restrictions, and yung mga nagagamit daw, either kung may microphone daw ba pwede gamitin para makipaglaro, makipag-usap ang mga bata sa isa't isa. Dapat daw tignan yan. Yung kung may ID raw ba for verification, kung 18 and above daw yung pwede lang maglaro, nasisiguro ba na lahat talaga ay 18 and above lang o gumagamit lang daw ng account or nakakapaggamit ng crack versions or ways para mapasok yung mga laro kahit minor de edad sila. So, medyo mahaba Dagdag na rin natin yung naging emotional na pagsasalita naman ng mga kamag-anak nang namatay doon sa Tacloban School shooting. Ang isa pa nga magulang sinasabi hindi raw sapat na dalhin lang daw itong mga menor de edad sa bahay Pag-asa. Dapat daw may specific facilities daw for such minors na kung ang case daw na kinasasangkutan ay heinous, and especially kung pagdating sa usapan daw ng pagpatay. Aralin din daw, sabi ng isang magulang, yung pagbabaraw ng edad pagdating sa criminal responsibility.
At Merimon,
Of course, mahaba pa
hindi
tong
ko
process.
masyadong naintindihan, no? Na hindi problema yung gaming platform, kaya hindi dapat i-ban. Ang problema, yung mga tao at groups na nag-exploit. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Anong magiging key result area? Sino yung mga tao na yon? Anong gagawin sa kanila? Parang medyo hindi ganun kalinaw. Kung hindi kasalanan ng gaming platform, tapos
I
mga
don't
tao
think naman-
ang may kasalanan, sino yung mga tao
Hindi,
na yan?
Ronald,
Hindi,
merong
I think-
international network niyan. It's a
Yeah.
nihilistic group. Meron siyang isang grupo, yung isa yan, nabanggit. They are using the platforms to
To exploit.
contact minors. Tapos, ginagamit yon for pati sa online sex exploitation,
Yeah.
pati sa ina-encourage nila self-harm, ginagamit sa extortion. Iniimbestigahan yan ngayon. That's a global problem.
Correct.
So,
But the
hindi ko alam
platform-
kung meron tayong
I-
But
capability.
the
I don't
platform
think
itself
we're-
is the
No, no, no.
platform
I
itself
don't
is very
think-
violent.
Yes, but I don't think we're absolving them completely. What Merimon was saying is, start pa lang to ng hearings and they're trying to determine what safeguards there are in the platforms themselves to protect minors. For example, how are minors, 14, 13, 10-year-olds able to chat with, what was the name of the, nakalimutan ko tuloy. With adults, with grown-ups, for example, on the platforms. Or paano nila, may age recommendation yung mga games, pero bakit na-access ng mga children, minors that are younger than the age recommendation, for example. I think that's what they're trying to drive at. Merimon?
Correct. Kasi pinapasok na rin daw at tulad ng sinabi earlier, ginagawang pugad itong hindi lang mga laro, kundi even ang social media to recruit minors and to influence them either of the same principle or similar or same actions, and very violent ito yung mga nagre-resulta. Kaya ang concern nila, paano raw kung dumami pa? And iba pang mga plataforma or games ang pasukin nitong mga grupo, so mas delikado raw yan para sa mga kabataan. Pero they're also calling out for the cooperation and yung tulong din ng mga magulang na bantayan daw kung ano yung mga nilalaro at kung sino yung nakakalaro ng mga bata sa mga ito.
Pero Mary Mon, ang tagal na kasi pinag-uusapan yan eh. Online gambling, no? Pornography, etc. Pero wala pa rin naman napopropose na regulatory system eh, para ma-check yan dahil everything is accessible sa cellphone ng mga bata. No? Anong concrete proposal para ma-regulate yan, para hindi ma-access ng bata? Wala pa rin ako nakikita whether that is pornography, whether that is human trafficking, whether that is gambling, whether that is violent gaming. No? So, yun yung dapat maging output nitong ganitong senatorial hearings.
And Ronald, so far kasi ang difference ng case na to, recreational games siya supposedly compared doon sa mga online gambling platforms or websites na though hati ang tao tungkol sa gambling pero may regulation supposedly at pagbabantay din ng PAGCOR. Pero dito kasi, yan yung sinasabi ng ilang mga senador. Ni Senator Risa, for example, in-invite kasi nila yung game developer nung Gorebox, si Philip Felix, dahil sinasabi kung gusto nga raw nitong mga laro na magkaroon ng profit, kumita raw sa Pilipinas, sa mga Filipino player, dapat daw respetuhin at galangin din daw ang batas ng bansa. Pero hindi pumunta itong game developer, nag-decline siya. So tinatap ng committee ngayon yung German embassy para sa participation. Pero so far, di natin siya nakita kanina. Kaya ang tinitingnan din talaga nila ngayon, ano pang intervention ang maaaring maibigay para masiguro na safe and protected ang kabataan pag pumasok itong mga nananamantala sa mga laro and sa social media. Pero so far, sa pagtatapos nung hearing kanina, wala pang nababanggit talaga kung ano yung next na step nila on the legislative side.
Yeah. And of course, we have to reiterate, this is just the first hearing.
Meron, napag-usapan ba nila yung panukala ni SP Gatchalian restricting minors from having social media accounts? Yung 16-year-old cutoff na, for example, ginamit ng Australia, and just this year, ginamit rin ng Indonesia at ng Malaysia.
So far, Bok, hindi siya napag-usapan. More on yung traumatic effect, yung possible behavior, kung pwede ba daw pa talaga itong makuha based lang sa nakakausap, yung influensya raw ng social media, kung saan daw na-immerse or exposed yung mga bata. So yung usapin tungkol sa social media ban, yung cellphone ban na gusto rin mangyari ni SP Gatchalian, hindi pa siya nasasalang so far kanina sa pagdinig.
Okay, pero
May nagsalita ba galing sa DICT? Kasi kailangan may capability tayo kung sakasakali man magkaroon ng social media access ban sa minors. Kasi yung mga nag-exploit niya mga games, mga ano yan mga parang hacker yan yung operation nila Kaya ba nating harapin yon?
Sa narinig kasi sa narinig natin kanina doon sa hearing, ang sinasabi ng police is they're also coordinating at nagmamatsyag din daw sila tulad sa social media kung meron and even sa mga laro. So kapag may nakikita sila or may nare-receive daw na reports, titingnan daw nila yung magiging intervention nila dito. Pero tulad nung sa social media, ang nagiging promise ng mga platform, they're also working hand in hand sa mga law enforcement agencies. For example, yung TikTok Philippines, si Attorney Yves Gonzalez, nandyan siya, sinasabi niya na marami silang nati-take down ng mga account at depende rin daw ito kung makakakuha din daw sila ng info or reports from agencies. So yun yung aabangan lang natin sa next na hearing kung mula nitong nangyaring insidente, ano na yung magiging plans nila moving forward kung sakali man na may maglabasan na namang ganito. Ang binabantayan nila is yung contents din daw na tungkol doon sa violence na pwedeng maghimok pa raw lalong-lalo na sa mga kabataan na makikita yun.
Mahirap kasi i-implement yung yung social media ban on minors. Kasi, Australia nga, in 2024, imposed that law. A survey this year,
No, it did succeed. I mean, there's some success.
limited. But 85%, in a survey, 85% of minors still use social media.
Yes.
In a survey in Australia.
Gumagamit sila ng ibang profile.
Yeah, they make their own
I think
profile.
that's,
They use their parents' profile. They use VPN.
Yeah.
May other windows. May other
But anyway, teka, one more. I don't know if this is within the ambit of the hearing kanina, pero was there any discussion or any concerns raised about the apparent increase in copycat incidents dun sa shooting? Kung hindi shooting, stabbing, threats. Ano, threats at least, mga threats.
Meron na naman ngayon sa Zamboanga, meron na naman ngayon.
Actually, kanina, yung sa DepEd naman, pinaka nagsalita rin tungkol dyan is sinasabi na si DepEd Yusek Malcolm Garma, meron din daw sila ngayong pinaplano na rin na kumbaga parang tulad ng earthquake or fire drills, may gagawin na raw na ganitong practice sa mga paaralan para raw matignan nila kung kaya raw bang mag-respond ng mga personnel, ng staff, ng teachers, maging ng mga estudyante kung sakali lang daw na magkakaroon ng ganitong mga insidente. And on the other hand, ang sinasabi rin ng DepEd ngayon is nakikipag-usap din daw sila yung psychosocial services and first aid. Tuloy-tuloy daw ito sa mga student, teachers, employees na nakaramdam daw, nakaranas ng trauma. Pero yung mga nasa ospital, so far, ang nakikita nila baka higher intervention daw yung kinakailangan dito para maiwasan yung post-traumatic stress disorder sa mga, lalong-lalo na sa mga bata. And ang yun yung sinasabi nila, they're going to practice or exercise drills para makita yung preparation. Plus yung pag-check na rin daw sa mga paaralan, hinihimok ito ng DepEd para sa PNP to check kung may mga lugar daw na kulang sa pagbabantay or security measures.
Yeah. Okay. We'll leave that there. Thank you so much for your updates. Mobile journalist Merimon Reyes reporting from the Senate.
Salamat, Merimon.
Thank you, Merimon.
Thank you, Mary Mon.
Actually, this issue, as Ami was saying, is a real global issue. In fact, just last night, yung Attorney General ng Connecticut in the U.S. called for an investigation into Roblox. Roblox, which is not even as far from the violence level of Gorebox, for example. What they found, for example, was may isang gameplay experience within Roblox where it simulates what happened at Sandy Hook Elementary School.
Yes.
Papasukin nila yung game eh.
You're the
Pinapasok
shooter
nila yung game.
in that gameplay experience. You're the shooter at Sandy Hook. And they were very outraged about that. So nagpatawag na investigation yung Attorney General ng Connecticut into
Kaya nga,
Roblox.
sinasabi ko, yung gaming platform mismo, may problema.
Of course. So ang question dito is,
Hindi,
what
sila
did
yung
they
nahahack.
know?
Nahahack si gaming platform nitong grupo na gumagamit ng mga bata.
Yeah.
Yun ang problema.
So what did they know? What do these platforms know about the exploitation of minors? And what protective measures did they have in place? Same questions that they're asking in the States as what we're asking now.
Yeah.
Parang
Kaya
sa-
napaka-komplikado niya eh.
Parang sa US, walang,
komplikado yung problema.
sa US Army, walang regulations eh.
Hindi lang sa US, kahit sa Europe, pinoproblema
Hindi
nila
nila-
ngayon yung
hindi
grupo
nila
ngayon. Sa
regulate
network eh, it's a global network. Ginagamit yung mga bata, they encourage the children to commit suicide. Ganong klase to commit acts of violence, self-harm. Kaya tinatanong ko kung anong kapabilidad natin ngayong dumating na rin sa Pilipinas. Yeah, ewan ko.
From that, let's go back to the protests out on the streets. Let's bring in mobile journalist Jazz Paredes for the latest on day 2 of the Iglesia ni Cristo rally. Jazz, where are you and what's going on there? Ayun,
Yes,
EDSA.
Regina, Amy, Ronald, and Bo. Nandito tayo ngayon sa EDSA, particularly dito sa White Plains Avenue, kung saan nga idinadaos itong pagtitipon ng mga miyembro ng Iglesia ni Cristo. At ito na yung kanilang day 2, no? So matapos na silang makasecure ng permit kahapon upang magsagawa ulit ng kanilang pagtitipon. Ipakita ko lang sa inyo yung kasalukuyang sitwasyon dito. Medyo limited lang yung ating signal, pero ito yung nakikita nating sitwasyon as of this moment. Patuloy yung kanilang programa at marami na rin nagtipon-tipon doon sa may harapan ng entablado. Although dito sa pwesto natin, mas maraming na-occupy na yung mga sasakyan. Unlike kahapon na itong na dinadaanan ng aking camera, is puro mga tao talaga yung mga nag-occupy dyan kahapon. But more on, nandun na sila sa may tapat ng entablado ngayon na nakatipon-tipon dahil nga ongoing pa rin yung program, may mga kantahan, may mga open mic session sila, and in between, meron din mga talumpati. But so far, wala pa tayong mga nakikitang personalities na dumating. Unlike kahapon na dumating nga si dating Congressman Mike Pensor, Senator Amy Marcos, at pati na rin si Batangas First District Leandro Leviste. Although kanina bumalik siya dito at nagpakita ulit siya, nagsalita siya for a while. At sabi nga niya, yung mga nasa Liwasa Bonifacio ay kanyang dinala patungo dito. Nasa 500 daw yung kanyang dinala na constituents. But ito daw ay hindi mga miyembro ng INC but mga taga-suporta o yung mga sumusuporta nga dito sa kanilang pagtitipon.
Jazz, kung ikukumpara mo quantitatively yung crowd kahapon at saka ngayon, mas lumaki ba o mas lumiit? Kung ikukumpara mo yung qualitatively yung crowd ngayon, mas intense ba sila? Mas galit sila? Mas emotional sila ngayon kesa kahapon?
Yes, Ronald. Kung titignan natin yung sa quantity ng mga tao, as of now, ang crowd estimate natin ay nasa 6,000 daw. Base yan sa QCPD. Pero kung ikukumpara natin kahapon, based na rin doon sa observation natin ng crowd, mas kumonti ngayon, no? Kasi, Ronald, na pumesto tayo doon sa People Power Monument sa harapan ng EDSA, isang lane doon na occupy until dito sa kahabaan ng White Plains, punong-puno yan ng mga tao. But now ay wala nang nag-occupy ng mga tao doon sa may People Power Monument at nandito na lamang sila sa may harapan ng entablado naka-stay. With your question kung ano ba yung kanilang tone, mas galit ba or mas malumanay ba ang kanilang pananawagan ngayon, masasabi ko, Ronald, na although iisa pa rin naman ang kanilang panawagan at same as kahapon, but we can say na mas intense yung kahapon dahil yun yung first day. Kumbaga, ito yung buhos din talaga ng tao. Since it's an emergency rally, yung emosyon, yung kanilang panawagan ay nandun yung buhos, pati na rin yung buhos ng mga personalities na nakadagdag din dun sa intensity talaga ng kanilang panawagan. But for now, more of programs, mga kantahan yung kanilang nakikita natin ngayon dito. Although may konting replace ng mga speeches kahapon na nag-start ng kanilang talumpati. But Ronald, sa ngayon medyo mas malumanay or mas mababa or mas masasabi natin hindi kasing intense kagaya kahapon. Ronald.
Are we expecting any other lawmakers, personalities to turn up?
Or Marcoreta.
Like for example, kahapon dumating sila
Alan Peter.
Senator Cayetano and Amy Marcos.
With the laban sign.
Sa ngayon, wala pa tayong natatanggap na impormasyon kung mayroon bang paparating na personalities today. Kahapon inaabangan natin yung arrival ni Senador Rodante Marcoleta dahil nga kahapon inanunsyo mismo sa kanilang programa na aabangan natin yung kanyang pagdating. From time to time, pero mga nagpe-prepare for his arrival, but hindi natin siya naabot o hindi siya dumating kahapon. Ngayon, walang formal announcement if he will be arriving today. Wala rin tayong announcement kung sino ba yung mga posibleng dumating. As of now, Batangas First District Leandro Leviste pa lang yung first na dito. And aside from that, no info as of this moment. Pero aabangan natin yan throughout the day dahil baka mamayang gabi may mga hindi tayo inaasahan ng mga darating na personality.
Okay.
Duda ako kung
Diyan siyang
darating siya.
nakikita namin, parang nagkaroon ng barikada yung mga pulis yan, Nakaharang sila doon para hindi lumagpas doon. Saka hinarang din nila yung mga portalet.
Yes, AV. Hindi lang tayo makapaling doon ng camera dahil medyo limited yung signal natin. But ito nga nakikita natin sa ating mga screen, itong nakaharang sila. Ang nangyari dyan ay itong ang bus ay inusog na para mag-clear up yung almost 2 lanes ng EDSA. Dahil na rin yan, nag-clear na rin sila nung yung concrete barriers, dati yung dinadaanan ng busway. Ngayon, binalik na yan. Meron na tayong 3 lanes. So, yung isa't kalahating lane, sabi na rin yan ng QCLGU, inoccupy siya ng mga police, pati na rin yung mga vehicles nila, para daw sila yung makapag-organize din ng kasalukuyang traffic, yung crowd control. As of now, ganun yung kanilang role, no? Kaya rin sila nakaharang. And until now din, nandun pa rin sila nakaantabay at nakabantay. So, nakita natin, nag-shifting, nagpapalitan ng mga pwesto. But until now, the purpose talaga ay maayos yung trapiko din. Dahil nga, sa ngayon, although moderate to heavy yung traffic, but hindi naman na siya as heavy as kahapon. Dahil nga, mas marami ng lanes yung na-clear up. And wala na rin nga mga tao na nakaharang. More on mga pulis na lang talaga yung nagbabarikada doon sa bahagi ng EDSA.
So just totoo yung sabi ni Secretary John Vic Remulla na mas marami pa yung mga kapulisan kesa sa mga rallyista
Oo nga.
ngayon.
kung titignan natin with the numbers, ang numbers nating nakuha with regards to the PNP personnel is nasa 2,000 sila. We compare to the latest crowd estimate ng QCPD, which is 6,000, we can say na mas marami ang kapulisan, but basing lang ito sa numbers, no? Yun lang yung ating
Oo.
information. But sa nakikita naman natin, the proper deployment naman ng mga kapulisan, nakapalibot lahat ng sides ng PNP, ng People Power Monument at ng EDSA may mga kapulisan, pero itong mga nakiisa nga should the protest, hindi lang mga members of the INC, ay na-occupy nila nga itong White Plains Avenue. Pero with the numbers, yun lang masasabi ko, we can base na lang doon sa data
Sabi
na
niya-
nakibigay ng QCPD.
Sabi
Rona.
ni Secretary Remulla yun kagabi. I don't know if nabawasan na yung
May mga pulis
Oo.
kasi sa
Puro
kabila.
pulis yung nakikita natin, puro asul yan eh. Oh.
May pulis din sa kabila, yung sa opposite
Puro
lane.
asul yan.
Oo, nakatago
Puro
sila.
naka-uniforme yan nakikita natin eh. Oh.
Just,
saka yung portalet.
huling tanong ko, no? May mga dumarating pa ba na buses galing sa mga probinsya? Dahil ang balita ko, may mga parating. May naobserbahan ka ba na dumarating to reinforce the crowd?
Yes, so actually kaninang umaga, while we were observing dahil nga medyo mainit pa yung araw at talagang tirik na tirik kanina and wala masyadong ang mga tao dito. But nung nagbandang tanghali, although mainit pa rin, may mga nakikita tayong mga dumadating na mga van. Hindi na sila sakay ng mga bus, may nakita natin, more on mga vans na yung mga dumating. And we presume na dahil nga pagdating din ni Batangas First District, Leandro Leviste kanina, kanya na rin sinabi nga na may kasama siyang mga constituents na from Liwasong Bonifacio. Some of them are yung mga kasama niya, and some hindi pa natin ma-verify kung bagong dating ba sila or mga umalis lang saglit. But may mga dumadating kanina which is na-observe nga rin natin na habang tumatagal nga may mga dumadating na crowd, mas sumisiksik or mas dumadami yung accumulation ng mga tao dito. And sa mga nakikita nga natin ngayon, ipaling lang natin saglit. Meron dito nga crowd sa harapan natin. Kanina wala ito, pero meron na rin nag-accumulate sa side na ito ng mga tao. We presume na mas tumadami talaga habang papalapit yung gabi, no? We still yet to verify kung ano yung purpose. But tatanungin natin mamaya kung ano yung purpose ng kanilang pagtitipon-tipon sa site na ito. May nakikita tayong ambulansya.
Okay.
There's an emergency as of this moment.
Pero just pinag-uusapan ba kung
Pulis
mamayang gabi uwian na sila o ano?
Kasi hanggang
What are
ngayon lang
they
yung
talking
permit.
about?
Actually, Ed, Bok, ang sabi nga kanina, during the announcement at ang mga, syempre, continuous nga yung program, patuloy yung kanilang sigaw nga na walang uuwi. But wala pang formal announcement. Ang kanilang ang pagka-clarify nila kanina, the formal announcement kung uuwi na ba sila ay manggagaling lamang dito. And we talked with the QCLGU, sabi nga, is the permit is from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. lang. We don't know yet kung susundin ba itong 8 p.m. na magdi-disperse ba or alis na ba sila after 8 p.m. We're trying to contact pa yung from the QCLGU kung nag-file na ba sila ng panibagong permit para magpatuloy hanggang bukas dahil ayon din kay Leviste kanina, sabi niya yung mga kasama niya na constituents na nagpunta dito from Liwasong Bonifacio ay mag-overnight daw dito. Hindi natin alam kung it's another permit or meron na ba silang permit prior to that. Sinusubukan pa nating makuha. But hindi pa natin masabi kung anong oras mag-wrap up or itutuloy pa ba nila kinabukasan.
Sige. Basta FYI, sabi ni John Vic Remulla sa amin kanina lamang, pagdating ng 7:30 p.m., ipapaalala na niya sa mga nandyan na mag-uuwian na.
Na wala ng permit.
FYI lang.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Bok, we'll double check din natin yan
Yeah.
sa mga officials dito kung ano ba yung kanilang masasabi regarding.
Okay, we'll call you back for the other shows for updates. Thank you so much for your reporting.
Thank you, Jazz.
Mobile journalist Jazz Paredes coming to us from EDSA.
Thank you, Jazz.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
Just in time.
oh my goodness. Ay,
Just one.
nako. Uwi na nga tayo. Pati si Ami.
Sige, sabi mo na, just go.
Just go.
Ay, nako.
Si Ombudsman Boying Remulla has spoken. Angrily, I might add.
This is not selective justice.
Correct. in response to the rallying cry of the protesters ng INC rally. Sabi niya, it's not
Selective justice at itutuloy nila yung pagsampa ng kaso at arrest ni Marcoleta this week.
Sabi niya, freedom of expression.
Hindi niya pwedeng sabihin yung arresto, it's up to the court.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But he seems really confident in their case. Sabi niya, freedom of expression nila yan, pero it's a wrong premise. There's no such thing as selective justice when it comes to the ombudsman.
He cannot afford naman to back down, ano?
Tsaka ang paliwanag nila, Ami, kaya lang napabilis yung kay Marcoleta dahil siya mismo yung nag-provide ng evidence.
Yan na nga.
Yun, kaya
Malakas
mas
kasi
mabilis.
ebidensya. Yun ang sabi nila.
Galing
Yun ang
sa-
sabi ng ombudsman, yun ang sinabi ng
self-inflicted case.
Malacanang.
And sabi nga nila, the elements of the crime of plunder are already there.
So
Kaya
hindi
siya
na,
mabilis.
hindi na kailangan ng case build-up.
He's, well, yeah, because there are three elements, right? He's a public official, he accepted the gifts, and he accepted the case. Third is by reason of his office. It was clear that it was by reason of his office daw, according to the ombudsman.
And it's more than 50 million.
Lagpas sa threshold ng plunder, which is 50 million. So, and it's a series of transactions na binigay kay Senator Marcoleta.
Yan
So-
ang ano.
so hindi pa tapos
foot
ito?
in mouth decision.
So hindi pa tapos ito, Ami.
That's, I mean,
Hindi,
okay.
alam naman natin. Hanggat di niya pinapile, file na niya kasi.
Yes, we keep coming back to that question. Bakit in-announce pa kasi? I don't know what the point of that is unless that was a tactic, a move, a maneuver.
To clear himself from the election case. Yun ang habol niya noon
Yeah, sa Comelec.
It was a Comelec case.
That's why the
To
Comelec
clear
said,
himself,
you're not liable.
Hindi, I mean for Ombudsman Remulla. Bakit
Si
pa
ombudsman ang
in-announce
tinatanong niya.
unless that was a move?
Kung merong
Dapat
right
pinail
against
na lang.
self-incrimination, meron ding right of self-incrimination.
well, sabi nga ni John
Right to
Vic,
self-incriminate.
sabi nga ni John Vic kanina, tingin niya hindi aatras. Tingin niya may mangyayari this week. No? So, medyo
He
nagko-compliment
cannot
naman.
afford naman to atras, ano? He cannot afford.
Yes.
Di ba sinabi na natin kahapon, the government cannot
Yes.
afford to blink
Yes.
kapag ganyang may nagrarally ng ganyan.
Oo. Meron kasi
Kaya tapos
army na
pero-
kwan na half blink, yung ano lang yun. Gano'n lang.
Cannot
What?
afford
Ang
to
tawag doon,
attract,
wink.
pero iba yung
Kindak ang tawag doon,
It looks
kindak.
like
Wink yun, hindi blink.
Maaari namang hindi umatras, maaari lamang mag-pause at maghintay ng konti. Parang, di ba, we've been hearing so many, for how many weeks already na, magsasampa naman ng kaso lamang kay Defensor. Di ba?
Totoo naman,
Pero
isa pa
sinabi
naman
niya
Finally
this week,
happened, pero
malinaw yung
it-
sinabi niya this week.
That's my point. There seems to be a pattern of announce muna and then several days and then before the
delay,
filing
di ba?
of the charges.
Di ba
And
tutuloy?
I'm trying to figure out why. Ano yung, what's the goal here? But
Okay,
anyway.
let's bring in si
Kasi
Mojo.
tinanong ng media, kayo talaga.
Ayaw na yung mag-isalanan. Taga-ami yung mga taga-Philippine staff talaga.
Press con niya. Tinanong ng media, sumagot siya.
Totoo ba yan, Arles? Pasa na si Arles de los Santos, ang ating Mojo nagko-cover kay Ombudsman Boying Remulla. Arles,
Kasi lalo
Tinanong
kasama
niya,
ba?
Arles.
Bok Ed, Reg, at alam nyo, Ami, inaasahan natin talaga na hindi madi-disclose muna yung pangalan nung isinagawa yung press conference ni Ombudsman Boying Remulla nitong linggo na ito. No? Kasi si Ombudsman Remulla ay nanggaling sa United Nations sa New York para sa isang talk,
Yes.
sa isang discussion. No? So pagbalik niya dito sa Pilipinas, tila yun yung naging pasalubong niya. No? Yung pag-a-announce nga na meron ngang sasampahan na kaso na isang senador and then the other two senators ay nasa preliminary investigation pa and then may 8 pang mga congressman naman na nasa preliminary investigation din and meron na posible ring masampahan na isang contractor nga umano, no? Kaugnay ng mga alegasyon ng conflict of interest at yung pagiging contractor mismo kaugnay ng flood control scandal. Initially talaga, hindi ito itinanong no or i-disclose per se ni Ombudsman Boying Remulla pero sa paulit-ulit na tanong and later on ini-announce na rin no. Pero ngayon na nakausap natin siya dito no sa GSIS sa isang event kontra korupsyon no, sinabi niya na wala raw pagbabago Ngayong linggo pa rin nila ifa-file yung kaso pero wala pa ring definite na araw. And ayon naman kay Assistant Ombudsman Mico Clavano, kahapon hinihintay na lamang yung pirma doon sa resolusyon para makapunta na sila sa Sandigan Bayan at ma-file na itong plunder case.
Ngayong
Oh,
linggo
media nga, may
Wednesday
kasalanan.
na eh. Wednesday na
Eh, sinabi ko na sa inyo, media may kasalanan.
Siguro mga...
Baka Philippine Star pa yung nagtanong yan eh.
Hindi naman,
Arles
hindi
nagtanong
naman.
nun.
Mga
Hindi,
reporter
hindi.
na yan.
Ang aking tinanong noong kahapon ako nakapagtanong sa ombudsman.
Ipapaliwanag
Ang tinanong
tuloy.
ko, kiklear ko rin yung sarili ko. Hindi. Kahapon kasi, Ami,
So,
Ronald
proceed
at
ko paliwanag.
Edno, kahapon naman, nag-press con si Assistant Ombudsman Mico Clavano.
Oh.
Though, patungkol ito kay
Of course.
dating DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan. Dahil nga raw magte-tell all, magbibigay ng mga impormasyon. Ang tanong natin, kapag umabot yung testimonya ni Bonoan kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, iimbestigahan ba nila ito? Ang sabi ay hindi sila mag-hesitate at gagawin nila. Hindi yung so far yung about sa senator. Actually, yung iniintay nga natin at least on our part, no, yung kay Senator Joel Villanueva dahil notable actually, Reg, no, yung binabanggit mo na bakit may series of announcement muna na fa-filean, magbibigay ng deadline and then later on hindi mag-work, no? So kaming mga media naman ngayon dito na sumusunod naman din sa coverage for Ombudsman Remulla, we're asking for a specific date kasi if ever baka maging pangalawa or pangatlong beses na hindi masusunod yung specific timeline na ibinibigay ni Ombudsman patungkol dito sa mga kaso ng flood control scandal ng ating pamahalaan.
O, kumusta na yung yung manifestation sa Sandigan Bayan for Manuel Bonoan to turn state witness? Wala pang sagot ang Sandigan.
Nakausap natin actually Ami, no, yung presiding justice ng 2nd Division ng Sandigan Bayan na may hawak ng graft case ni Estrada at ni Bonoan. At ayon sa kanya ay sa July 14 magkakaroon sila ng arguments, no, sa 2nd Division ng Sandigan Bayan para pag-usapan ito. At kabukod dyan, yun yung dahilan kung bakit hindi natuloy yung supposed na arraignment at pre-trial ni Estrada at Bonoan kahapon, June 30, and ngayon, July 1, para sa plunder at graft cases nito.
So they'll
Pero
decide...
generally, Arles, sumusunod ang Sandigan sa recommendations
Yes.
ng
Yes,
prosecutor,
yes.
di
Of
ba?
course.
Generally,
Correct.
yun naman yun.
Madalas, ganun yung nangyayari recently, no? At least sa coverage natin and sa mga kaso na isinasampan na pagbibigyan ang hiling ng prosekusyon and every motion naman ng mga akusado, yung tugon pa din ng prosekusyon later on yung nasusunod at napagbibigyan nga, no? But nilinaw naman ng Office of the Ombudsman amin, no, na yung kanilang hiling na maging state witness itong si Bonoan ay still within the powers of the court kung pagbibigyan nga ba ito, no? Kasi ayon kay Assistant Ombudsman Mico Clavano, no, na doon daw sa plunder case na kasangkot si Bonoan, ang sinasabi ay si Estrada lang daw yung nakakuha umano ng kickback doon for flood control projects ng DPWH, no. Wala raw napunta kay Bonoan and parang yung premise ay dahil si Bonoan yung napakiusapan, yung kasama sa mga naglinya ng mga proyekto kaya kasangkot yung kanyang pangalan doon.
Yeah.
Pero sa testimony ng mga state witness sa Blue Ribbon, malinaw yung role ni Bonoan. Malinaw yung mga nakuha niyang pera.
Si Bernardo, tinuro siya.
Kaya Arles, malinaw ba kay Clavano or kay Boying Remulla yung indication kung bakit siya, si Bonoan, ay hindi principal at siya ay pwedeng maging state witness? Pinaliwanag naman nila yan sa inyo?
So far, ayun pa lamang yung paliwanag na ibinibigay nila Rito Ronald, no, patungkol dyan sa pagiging state witness. Kasi yung mga nabigay nila information sa atin so far, kung ano yung kanilang mga naging consideration for Bonoan. Kagaya na lamang ng kanyang edad, ng kanyang kalusugan, and yung willingness daw nito to cooperate. And syempre, yung tenure niya as the Public Works Secretary for parang 2022 hanggang 2025. If we remember it correctly, no, na talagang malaman daw yung magiging sagot nito. And yung pagiging state witness naman, and sinasabi na walang natanggap na pera, at least for the Jinggoy Estrada case pa lamang. Hindi pa natin nakukumpirma at directly maililink ito doon sa iba pang mga kaso. Though, yung sa malversation case ni Revilla kahapon, nag-present din yung prosecution na baka ipresentang witness si Bonoan, last witness daw sa presentation of witnesses ng prosecution.
The context to that, Arles, is yesterday we spoke to Senator Ping Lacson who said he doesn't believe former Secretary Bonoan did not receive money.
Yes.
In fact, by his calculation, over 1 billion pesos yung natanggap
1.6.
niya.
1.6.
Over
The
a course of-
last figure we saw.
Correct.
Yes.
Over a course of 3 years. But napanood din natin yung press con ni Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano where he said it was a very difficult decision for them to arrive at the decision to make him a state witness. But it will help in the case build-up against former Speaker Romualdez din. So that's what people are waiting for right now. How much of a
Yeah.
Baka yun
key
pa.
character he could be.
Yeah.
Baka yun pa. Pero-
Dagdag lang natin dyan, no? Dagdag pa ng ombudsman kahapon, 3 weeks ago na daw pala, nagbigay ng letter itong si Bonoan and later lang nila natanggap nung naisampa na yung kaso. Hindi naman nila sinasabi na parang initially walang konsiderasyon na kuning state witness si Bonoan. It's just that nung una, siguro hindi raw ito nagre-react dahil wala pang kaso. Pero nung nagkaroon na ng kaso, ayun, dumiretso na sa Sandigan Bayan ang reklamo.
Pero it doesn't hold water na siya ay walang nakuha.
Yes.
No?
Still on of course, based on the evidences, Ronald, and sa mga case build-up and preliminary investigation na gagawin pa ng Office of the Ombudsman at ng iba pang mga ahensya ng ating pamahalaan.
What is
May nakuha ba kayong dagdag na detalye? Yun ang hinihingi ng mga tao eh. Ano yung deal with Bonoan? Kasi, halimbawa si Antonio Carpio, sabi niya, kailangan may restitution dyan before he turns state witness dahil nakasampa na sa korte kaso eh.
Sa ngayon, wala pang ganyan mga impormasyon, Ami. Pero kung meron man na pera na i-require, korte din daw no, yung magkakasundo at mag-uutos kung magkano at ilan nga ito. And kahapon lang din natin nalaman, Ami, na yung pagiging state witness pala na consideration for Bonoan ay at least for the part of the Office of the Ombudsman, no, na pwede nga silang magpasok ng mga personalities dito. Then, if we can...
Oh no, I think we lost Arles.
Nag-freeze siya.
Arles, are you back?
I think we lost the
Unfortunately,
line.
not. Okay.
Okay, it's okay. That was our mobile
Although, just to be clear, it is the
yan
the
na.
court. Arles, you back?
who decides on the restitution.
And it's the
Ayan,
court
bumalik
that has
pa ako.
exclusive authority to
Yan na,
discharge
yan na.
somebody as state witness.
Arles,
sige.
yes. Yeah, continue lang. From
Yes.
where-
And yung sinasabi natin kanina, nag-expire yung load sa isang SIM card. But
Okay.
what we're talking about is yung state witness for the Office of the Ombudsman is a different discussion pa pala doon sa witness protection program ng Department of Justice. Kasi yung sa DOJ pala ay requires about their safety, kung
Yeah.
saan sila mananatili, and yung security kapag may mga hearing. So sa state witness, yung sa Office of the Ombudsman, at least pagpasok sa listahan ng mga witness, no? So, abangan pa natin kung saan mananatili si Bonoan kapag gumulong na yung mga kaso. Sa ospital pa rin ba o uwi siya ng bahay, though may mga bulong-bulungan na afford niya naman kahit magtuloy-tuloy siya sa ospital na manatili habang nagpapatuloy at gumugulong yung mga kaso sa kanya.
Any updates on the case of Senator Jinggoy Estrada, Arles? Ano yung
So
what's
for
next steps
Reg,
then?
Go on.
Go ahead. What are the next steps there?
At least for the next step, Reg, ay yung July 14 nga na magkakaroon ng argument at pag-uusapan ng mga hukom at ng mga counsels ng mga akusado at respondent yung hiling na maging state witness or maging maalis si Bonoan sa listahan ng mga kapwa-akusado ni Jinggoy Estrada. While sa July 18 naman ay inaasahan yung pre-trial and arraignment naman ni Estrada para sa kasong plunder na hawak ng 5th Division ng Sandigan Bayan.
Yogi?
Okay.
Pre-trial arraignment July 18 ng 5th Division.
Yogi,
Okay,
any more?
we'll leave that there. Thank you so much for your reporting, mobile journalist Arles de los Santos.
Salamat, Arles.
Thank you, Arles.
Salamat, Arles.
Over the Ombudsman.
Nawalan ako ng men.
Ano sabi?
Let's just pretend it's the weather, no? Kaya choppy yung linya.
For all the world to hear.
Patay mo naman bago. Anyway, sige, let's move on.
Ayun.
Okay, so tonight we will see
Nakaabang tayo lahat ngayon.
Ay, sorry.
Kyle's good.
We have to issue an erratum yesterday. This is in relation to the impeachment trial schedule. Hold on.
From
Sorry.
July 6 hanggang
27.
hanggang the Friday before the 27.
Sorry.
27 is Monday eh. 27, 26.
July
24.
Well, the pre-trial order says July 6 to 27, Mondays to Wednesdays ang trial, 2 p.m. onwards. July 27 onwards, but of course July 27 is SONA Day, State of the Nation Address, so walang hearing that day. So thereafter, July 28 onwards, the hearings will be on Tuesdays, 2 Thursdays at 3 p.m. So we just have to correct that because yesterday we said it's August 3 onwards. But no, it's July 6 starting next week, all the way until the 27th to the SONA. It'll be Mondays to Wednesdays, 2 p.m. And again, July 28 onwards, it'll be from Tuesdays to Thursdays, 3 p.m. The prosecution has asked for 62 days of trial. The defense has asked for 30 days of trial. I'm not super sure if it's going to be 92 days of trial at the very least, but we'll see when the trial itself starts. 62 and 30 days. Mondays to Wednesdays, yung trial. Everyone seems ready. Every time we've asked the prosecution and the defense side about their preparations, everyone seems ready for this historic impeachment trial.
Nobody will say they're not ready.
Of course, that's also true. But yung mga the contested green box, it'll be interesting what they do with that.
It will be decided by the court.
Correct. The Senate na yun. The Senate sitting as judges. And remember, there's going to be an all-senator caucus this Friday, according to Senator Ping Lacson, wherein they hope to tackle the issue of who the presiding officer will be. As I said, in the pretrial order, it was Sherwin Gatchalian's name in there, and he was titled presiding officer, but sabi ni Senator Ping Lacson, that's not formal yet. They will have to decide, although the majority is split on who it should be. There are some, I guess, that want a lawyer, like Senator Chis Escudero or Senator Kiko Pangilinan, and then there are others who are okay with
The Senate
the
President.
Senate President as presiding officer. It'll be a crucial role, of course.
Yeah. Tsaka it's also, in a way, wala namang aamin, positioning for 2028.
Do you think?
Yeah, because like, for example, si Cheese is a re-electionist. At medyo...
Si Senator Win, hindi na.
Ay,
His
oo.
term's up, I think, if I
Yes.
recall correctly.
Kailangan niya either higher office or hindi siya tatakbo. No? Tapos,
Local.
Si Kiko rin ay nagpaplano rin ng possibility for a higher office. So, open-ended kasi ang mga yan. No? At medyo nasira si Cheese because of the impeachment last year. So, kinakailangan niyang magkaroon ng rehabilitation at saka redemption. No? Going into...
Nasira ba siya? I mean,
Yes,
he
ang baba
also
niya.
gained some supporters because...
Ang baba sa surveys. Kung titignan mo surveys, sira sila nila Joel, sira sila nila Jinggoy, nila Alan Peter. So tatamaan yung mga re-elections na yan, including Mark Villar.
Including Senator Mark Villar.
Re-electionist din siya.
Okay, mag-goodbye na tayo.
Mag-goodbye na tayo. That's all the time we have for today.
Gusto niyo pa pa, talaga ko.
I haven't gotten the cue eh. Thanks for joining StoryCon today. I'm Pumintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, a resident political pundit.
Namaste.
Join us again tomorrow, 4 p.m. for StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Edwin Gao. Kapatid, we are One News, your side all the time.
Namaste.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.